Virgo.
Happy New Year, Virgo. This is 2016, and we're looking at your January aspects here now. And this month, I can see there's going to be a shift of where your energy is going to be focused, because here, December, Mars was really working here, crunching numbers, getting all your finances up and running and place them in a new format. Now, every once in 2 years will Mars give you that extra oomph and push to get those things straightened out. So you're going to be shifting here as we get into January here on January 4th. So you have till then to just finalize whatever it is that you need. Some of you might even get your taxes done super early. Mars will help you get it done if you need to have them done early. But then Mars is going to be moving into the 3rd house of communication, all right, and short distance travel. And so I'm seeing you to and fro. There's going to be a lot of errands, maybe more infiltration with sharing time with your neighbors, your siblings, that kind of thing. A lot of communication, because that's what the 3rd house is all about. And Mars is your energy. But it will shift from Libra, where it has been, where things have been balanced as far as your drive goes. But now as it dives into Scorpio, you're going to feel that much more passionate about the things that you talk about, that you're getting yourself into, and what you're sharing with those people around you. So you're going to have that Scorpion feel here in January. Venus, though, is cruising through your 4th house of your chart, and that has to do with family. It has to do with your foundation, the past, who you are on the inside. And Venus is all about love and beauty and so forth. So I can see how January might just be the time for you to kind of remodel, redo, or change up things around on the walls to get some new feng shui energy going in the home area. Some of you might just think about wanting to purchase, or you might be thinking about moving. This could be a very good time for it. Venus is in this area once every year, and right now here, this year, we have Saturn there. And Saturn is wanting to secure your roots as far as looking into property, real estate, but also family matters. So it could be something with your parents this month, extra focus. Since Venus is coming up to that Saturn, well, it's all about love, isn't it? And securing it. Then we have a beautiful lit up 5th house here, Virgo, and we just love the 5th house because it's so much fun. It's all about self-expression and creativity. It's also about love, but also children. And so here we have the Sun, we got Mercury, we got Pluto, and the new moon. So when we have the new moon in any area of our chart, that kind of like floodgates it with new energy. So that is the time to put down your intentions, as we speak of, and that new moon will be there January 9th, and 19 degrees there in Capricorn. So what is it you want to put down as intentions? Maybe allowing yourself to have a little bit more fun as you go. And you know by now that the new moon doesn't just last until the next one, next month. But whatever we put down in this area of our chart, it has the power to linger there for 12 months before it comes back around to this very same spot. So you're kind of prepping your path. So make sure that you promise yourself that you're going to take more time off to be creative, to spend time with your children, to have more time off for date nights and so forth, because that will behoove you throughout the whole of 2016. Then we have the Sun and Pluto. They're going to meet up, and the Sun is you, and Pluto is always that pivotal point of transformation. What will be transformed? Well, we got to look to that area, which is that 5th house. So it could be something that you want to initiate. There might be some communication you want to come up and out with and share. For some of you, it could be the business that you own, which the 5th house is represented instead of the 10th house of career. And in that case, this should also promise to be good because it's a real big oomph forward. So you will see that the passion of January 5th will actually spill through a little bit later when Mercury is going to touch upon it as well later in the month. But speaking about Mercury, it will go retrograde this month, and that will be between the 5th and the 25th of January. So as always, we don't want to sign any documents unless we really have to, and there's times when we need to, but if we can wait until we get into February, that would be the best deal here. Mercury going retrograde in this area, the 5th house, what would that bring you? Well, anything that has been flying by super fast while Mercury was direct, there could have been some opportunities that came your way. There could have been some bailers that came your way. When I say bailers, that's a European term for partners that wanted to pursue you, right? That you might have just passed up. They might come back around. But even people, friends from the past may come back too, where you may be able now to share some time and enjoy. So that's one of the blessings here with Mercury retrograde, is that it does bring people and places back into being. So Neptune is still working away in your 7th house for the committed type relationship, and I feel a lot of you Virgos have been really fine-tuning your energy shared with your partner. For those of you who are single, I know it's been upping your heart chakra, longing to meet the right one, not just anyone to fill your time and space, but the right one, the soulmate energy. That's what Neptune does. It brings that highest ideal up and out. And so some of you might have been already lucky to have found him or her. Neptune is now currently 7 degrees here in this sign, so it still has another 23 degrees to go, and that equals, well, at least another probably 7 or 8 years without checking my charts there. But so depending on if you're born early in the sign, you will get it earlier. Those in the middle of the sign will get it halfway through, and so forth. And then we have Uranus also in its slow passage here through the 8th house. So that has helped you look at your savings, what you're saving, how you're saving it, how you could come to invest, that kind of thing. Some of you have been dealing with perhaps inheritances and so forth, which also rules that 8th house. The full moon we have this month here on the 23rd, and last month there in December on Christmas Eve. How beautiful was that? First time in 38 years that the full moon would fall on a Christmas Eve. So that was great. But here we have it. It is just in those very few first degrees of Leo, which is going to be illuminating your 12th house. The 12th house is always the inner self. It's our spiritual subconsciousness, higher consciousness. And when the moon is illuminating here, we tend to want to pull back a little bit so we can have a little quiet time and listen within. Great for meditation, yoga, just realigning all your chakras so that you can be good to go when the moon hits out into that first house for a whole new month in its monthly round around your chart. But here we mentioned that the conjunction of the Sun and Pluto, that is January 5th. At the same time, we have the Sun also squaring off on Neptune. So there could be a little to-do situation right there, because Neptune is our hopes, it's our dreams, it's the higher aspirations spiritually. But when the Sun is squaring it, then there could be a disillusion of something, or perhaps we were hoping for something, expecting something that didn't come about. So there's letdowns at times, and especially because also the Sun is squaring off on Uranus on the 7th. And so that could also be something unexpected coming into being here. And with Pluto there conjunct the Sun too, So between the 5th and the 7th, especially now when we're looking at world politics, as sad as that is, with all the jihad going out there, and we look at Neptune, we always kind of think about Neptune, yes, as the highest aspiration of our faith, our belief system, and so forth. It is square on the 5th. And when Neptune is square, it goes to the lower vibration of where that beautiful heightened sense of what you think you're wanting to achieve will fall apart and become a disillusion. And then with Uranus there and Pluto, well, let's just hope that the world will be safe those 2 to 3 days, 5th to the 7th, because Pluto could be quite explosive and Uranus very revolutionary. So we might hear news. Hopefully not. Let's pray all will go well. On the 8th, though, onwards, the rest of the month is looking really, really good. Venus, which is love, Saturn here, which is all about you grounding yourself into what secures you. We mentioned that was going to show up in your 4th house. So for home and family, this is a day where you're feeling really strong bonds and appreciation. And then we have the 12th and 13th, beautiful days. Let me just line them up for you. We got Venus, love and money and beauty, right? They're trine, which is a fantastic aspect to Uranus, which is all about the unexpected. So when Uranus is in nice transits like that, it can give us gifts from cosmos, right? And the Sun is also trine Jupiter, which is very generous and also giving, very supportive, and Mercury trine Jupiter too. So that is news about something of generosity coming in. So for you, it's especially good because you have that Jupiter in your sign. So it's in the 1st house, that Jupiter, and it's being beamed now from the Sun and from Mercury, and that's coming from the 5th house. So this could be maybe an invitation from a loved one, but something to be celebrated at least. It could be great news from one of your children, for example. So whatever that may be and fall onto for you, you will come to see. On the 17th, just don't splurge too much because that Jupiter in that 1st house is being squared by Venus, and Venus wants to shop. And I can see at times when Venus and Jupiter are in that type of aspect that money hangs very loose in the pocket. And sometimes we just fall for all the flashy stuff which Jupiter can do, and then we regret it afterwards. It's like a lot of bling, right? So if you love it, that's great. But now, do you really need it? That's what you want to ask yourself. If you don't need it, then it's probably just a want in the here, in the flyby moment, and then you can regret. If it is something you really need and still want after a few days, go for it. But that is the 17th. On the 18th, we have a beautiful romantic date night that you want to circle in on your calendar, which is Mars and Neptune. It's trine. Mars is men, action, goals, and so forth. It's what you're reaching for and dynamically wanting to have, and you're trying to capture the essence of the dream, which is Neptune. Now, that Mars will be in your 3rd house, Neptune there is in your 7th house, so definitely a date night, right? And then on the 22nd, we got Mercury conjuncting Pluto, just like the Sun did there on the 5th. Mercury's coming over to that very same degree, so whatever was initiated on the 5th may now come into being where you can communicate more, or you might get some feedback. Say, for example, if you had an interview on the 5th, it might be a couple of weeks, and then you will have notice. That would be on the 22nd. Of course, it doesn't have to have anything to do with career interviews, but you get my drift. An initiation on the 5th, the fallout, the news, the feedback on the 22nd. So, listen here, Virgo, I hope you're going to have a fabulous January. And the 2016 readings are up for the full year. If you haven't listened to them, you might want to go and hear what you can expect throughout the upcoming months. And also, the January Horoscope is also going up now, so you can see what the cards are going to tell you. So I'll see you in February.